Hello, everybody. Welcome to Israel's Church of Living God. I'm Brother Rodney. Straighten out your mic there, brother. Brother Gerald will be reading today. We'll be doing a lesson today, the promised land. The promised land. I know we did a lesson last week, the promised prophet. And so this week we're doing a lesson called the promised land. And we're going to show you here in this lesson that that land that Martin Luther King was talking about, that is the land that we are going to. Because he said we as a people will get to the promised land. And me, myself, personally, I think the Lord showed him something that day or that evening. So we're going to show you this promised land. So we're going to start off in Acts 7th chapter. Acts 7th chapter. Glad to see everybody come out today. Acts 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Acts 7 and verse 2. Acts 7 and verse 2. When you get it, go ahead and read that.
And he said, Men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, before the dwelt in Charran, and said unto him, Get thee out of the country, and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee.
Go ahead.
Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans, and dwelt in Charran, and from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land, wherein you know dwell.
And he said, now he removed him into this land, wherein now you dwell. Now where are the children of Israel dwelling at this time? Are they dwelling in the land of Israel? This is where the people were dwelling. Go ahead and read that verse 5.
And he gave him none inheritance in it. No, not so much as to set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give it to him for a possession. Stop right there. Yet he promised that he would give it unto him for a possession. So this land, and where the writer is writing right here, they standing in, this is the promised land. Because this is the land that was promised to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, and to the children of Israel for everlasting possession. Read that verse 5 again. And he gave him none inheritance in it. No, not so much as to set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give it to him for a possession, and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. So he promised Abraham's seed this land. He promised them this land, Abraham's seed. Let's go now. And if you look, the ones that's over there now, Abraham's seed are sitting in that land, but he promised it to a particular people that came out of Abraham. And we're going to show you who those people are in a minute. Let's go to Genesis, the 13th chapter, Genesis 13. Genesis 13. Because most people think we ain't nobody. These African Americans, they ain't nobody. Then you got the Ishmaelites and the Edomites over there fighting over that land over there right now. Been fighting over that land for thousands of years. For at least 2,000 years. They've been fighting over that land. But I'm going to show you, it's not going in either one of them. Genesis 13 and 1. Go ahead and read it. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, and silver, and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai.
Go ahead.
Unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first, and there Abram called on the name of the Lord, and Lot also.
Now Abram, he called on the name of the Lord. He called on the name of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents.
Now this Lot, this is Abraham's nephew, his brother's son. his brother died, but then before he died, though, he had Lot. Go ahead and read.
And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together. For their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. Now, Abraham, he was rich and had all his cattle, and Lot, he had all his cattle. So they had so much possessions, they both couldn't dwell in the same land. So they're like, well, you know what, we're going to have to separate. Read that verse 7. Go ahead. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. See, because they, had so much possession, so they fighting over, who this land belong to us, this part belong to us. This Abraham, like, we're going to have to separate. So they agreed to separate. Finish that. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled in the land. Now you see what land they was in? The land of the Canaanites. This is what land that they were in. Skip down to verse 11. Go ahead and read. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan. And Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves, the one from the other. Go ahead. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan. Now see, Abraham, he dwelt in the land of Canaan. And this is the land that was promised to him and his seed for everlasting covenant. Keep reading. And Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. Go ahead. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. He said, Abraham, look at the land that you're standing now. Look north, south, east, and west. Go ahead and read. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it. He said, all this land that you see, Abraham, I'm going to give it to you. But the Canaanites were dwelling in that land at that time, though. Go ahead and read. And to thy seed forever. And to thy seed forever. Now that put a big spin on it, don't it? He said, I'm going to give this land to you and your seed forever. Go ahead and read. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Go ahead. Arise, walk through the land, in the length of it. He said, arise, go check the land out, walk through it, look at it, I'm going to give it to you. Go check it out. Go ahead and read. And in the bread of it. And the breath of it, And in the breath of it, for I will give it unto thee. I'm going to give it unto you. So go check the land out. Go look at it. You know how you go look at a nice new house? You go check it out. That's what he's telling Abraham. Go check out the land, man, because I'm going to give it to you. Verse 18, go ahead. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre. Which is in Hebron. Which is in where? Hebron. Hebron. I say that because we're going to pick this up again. Hebron again. Go ahead and read. And built there an altar unto the Lord. Now, let's go to Psalm 105, because not that he didn't only just promise his land to Abraham, he promised to his seed after him too, right? Let's go to Psalm 105 and 8. Psalm 105 and 8. And we know that now Abraham's seed is sitting in that land, but he promised his land to a particular seed of Abraham. So those people that's sitting in the land now, Edom and Ishmael, that's Abraham's seed. They're Abraham's seed. Well, that's Abraham. Edom is. Ishmael is too. Ishmael is too. But did he promise that land to Ishmael and Edom? Let's find out. Psalm 105 and 8. Psalm 105 and 8. Because we know who's who. That's in Jerusalem. We know who the Egyptians are. We know who the Egyptians not. We know who the Edomites are. We know who the Israelites are. We know who the Ishmaelites are. And like I said, we know who the ones that sitting in Egypt. We know that those are not the real Egyptians, don't we? But I'm saying this for a reason. And I don't want to let the cat out the bag right now. Psalm 105. Psalm 105 and 8. Psalm 105 and 8. Go ahead and read that. He has remembered his covenant forever.
He have remembered his covenant forever. Go ahead.
The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac.
Go ahead.
And confirmed the same unto Jacob.
So now he made this covenant with Abraham, Isaac, with Jacob. Right? Confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law. Go ahead.
And to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
And to Israel for everlasting covenant. Now what did he promise them? Go ahead and read.
Saying unto thee, will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance.
Oh, he gonna give Israel the land of Canaan. This is the lot of Israel's inheritance. Not Ishmael, not Edom. And if we could go a little further, we could say the Moabites and the Ammonites, because they over there in that land too, which they call in the Middle East now. But we know that that is Africa and the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
Verse 12.
We're going to stop right there. So now this, he promises the children of Israel this land for everlasting covenant. An everlasting covenant. Let's go to Exodus. And when God say everlasting, he means everlasting. He might have kicked Israel out for a while, but he got to bring them back because it's an everlasting covenant, ain't it? We in Exodus 6, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. Exodus 6 and 1. Exodus 6 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Then the Lord said unto Moses, now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand shall he let him go.
Go ahead.
And with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land. And God spake unto Moses and said unto him, I am the Lord, and I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty, but by my name, Jehovah, was I not known to them.
Go ahead.
And I have also established my covenant with them.
He said, I have also established my covenant with them. What was his covenant? Go ahead.
To give them the land of Canaan.
Oh, that's plain right there. He said, I have established my covenant with the children of Israel to give them the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read.
The land of their pilgrimage. Wherein they were strangers. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage.
Now, you know, you got people saying that this didn't happen. The Israelites were never in bondage in Egypt. We're going to show you that they were. Not this lesson, but we got a lesson coming up real soon. That we're going to deal with this Egyptology and this Kemetic teachings and everything. And we're going to show you proof that the children of Israel did exist in Egypt. There's evidence that the children of Israel were in Egypt, but you got this Kemetic Israelites calling themselves Egyptians, saying that this did never happen. Moses never existed. The Exodus never happened. None of that stuff ever happened. But we're going to deal with you on your level, on an archaeological level. If I'm saying that word right. Y'all know my speech. Ain't the best. We're going to deal with you on an archaeological level. Because that's what they holler. See, where your evidence at? Where the archaeology at? Where is this at? Okay. We're going to show you that there is archaeological proof that the children of Israel dwelt in Egypt and were in bondage in Egypt. But that's all right, because I don't want to get off the lesson here. What verse you at?
Verse 5.
Go ahead.
And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians kept in bondage.
Go ahead.
And I have remembered my covenant. Wherefore, say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out of under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I will rid you out of their bondage. And I will redeem you with a stretched out arm, and with great judgments.
Go ahead.
And I will take you to me for a people, and I will be you a God.
Go ahead.
You shall know that I am the Lord your God, which bringeth you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians.
Verse 8.
And I will bring you into the land concerning the which I did swear to give to Abraham.
Now wait a minute, he said he swore that he's going to get his land. So if he swore, then that's a promise, ain't it? That's why I named this the promised land, because this is the promised land. Read that verse 8 again, because who did he swear to give it to? Go ahead.
And I will bring you in unto the land concerning the which I did swear to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob.
So he said he swore to give it to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. So this is the promised land then, isn't it? Now, let's go now. Let's go to, so that land of Canaan, we're going to find out this land of Canaan, what is it called today? Let's go to Numbers first. Numbers 13. Numbers 13. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Because you know the Lord had the children of Israel to spy this land out first. Before I give it to you, I want you to go spy this land out, Israel. And then I want you to go in there and take it. We had Numbers 13 and 1, Numbers 13 and 1. The Lord had them go in there and see, look how good this land is I'm about to give y'all. Numbers 13 and 1. Go ahead and read that.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan.
Now they may search the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read.
Which I give unto the children of Israel. For every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses by the commandment of the Lord sent them from the wilderness to Paran. All those men were his of the children of Israel. Now
skip down to verse 6. So we just want to pick up two brothers here that the Lord had the two captains to go and spy this land out. Skip down to verse 6. Go ahead and read it.
One of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of
Jephunneh. So now he said, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. Skip down to verse, so that's one of the chief, that's one of the captains right there that he sent. Caleb. Skip down to verse 16. Go ahead and read it.
These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Oshea, the son of Nun.
Go ahead.
Joshua.
So we got Joshua and Caleb. These are two captains that he sent 12 princes, but he had these two captains right here over those princes. Now, Caleb and Joshua. Keep reading.
And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan. And said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many. So
now go check the land out now. Go spy the land out. See if these people are strong, or they're weak, or if it's a lot of them, or it's just a few of them. Because y'all go ahead and take this land. But before you go ahead and take it, you got to go and check it out, see what we're dealing with first, right? Go ahead and read.
And what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds.
Go ahead.
And what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be good therein or not. And
so he said, he said, I want y'all to check out everything. If it's good land, if it's got some wood, good wood in there, we want you to check out everything. Go ahead and read.
Whether there be wood therein or not. And be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. Now, the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob, as men come to Hamath.
Keep reading.
And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron.
Now they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron. Isn't that the land that Abraham was dwelling in, Hebron? And that's in the land of Canaan, right? Go ahead and read.
Where Ahiman, Shishai, and Telamah the children of Anak, where how Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt.
Go ahead.
And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes.
Now he said they came unto the brook of Eshcol, cut down from this a branch with one cluster of grapes. Go ahead and read.
And they bare it between two upon a staff.
Ooh, you see that? And they bare two upon a staff. One cluster of grapes took 2 men to carry. No, that land was very fruitful, wasn't it? Read that one more time. Boy, you don't see stuff like that today, do you? And they came unto the, go ahead and read verse 23 again. Go ahead.
And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes.
Go ahead.
And they bare it between two upon a staff. And they brought of a pomegranates, and of the fig.
So now they took 2 men to carry this cluster of grapes. That must have been some big grapes, boy. They put it on the staff and carried it like this. One on one end, the other on the other end. That is really something, ain't it? Go ahead and read.
The place was called the brook, Eshcol. Because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence.
Go ahead.
And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went.
Now look, they were really spying this land, wasn't it? 40 days? It took them to spy this land out, and they didn't get caught? 40 days. Go ahead.
And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land.
Go ahead.
And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither thou seest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey.
It floweth with milk and honey. In other words, this is a good land. It's flowing with milk and honey. Go ahead and read.
And this is the fruit of it.
And this is the fruit of it, a cluster of grapes that took 2 men to carry, and the pomegranate and the figs. They said, man, this is the fruit of it. Go ahead and read.
Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled.
Go ahead.
And very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there.
Anak. So they said, we saw the children, and now these giants in the land. So now they give a good report about how fruitful the land is, but now these people in this land, now wait a minute. He said, we saw the Anak dwelt there. Go ahead and read. The children of Anak there. Go ahead.
The Amalekites.
The Amalekites.
The Amalekites dwelled in the land of the south. And the Hittites and the Jebusites. And the Amorites.
Now these are all Hamitic people, African people we dealing with right here. He said the Amalekites dwelled in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwelled in the mountains. These are Hamitic people, or what we call today African people. Go ahead and read.
And the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan.
Go ahead.
And Caleb still.
Now wait a minute. You got all these black people here, right? Dealing with right here. Wasn't no Gentiles in the land like the Jews that you see today. Wasn't no white people there. These are all black people we dealing with right here. Go ahead and read though. Even the Israelites. Go ahead.
And Caleb still the people before Moses.
Now Caleb like everybody be cool. You know, I guess they do. They brought back the bad report, and Caleb like everybody calm down, cause we gonna go and take this land. Go ahead and read.
And said, let us go up at once and possess it.
Go ahead.
For we are well able to overcome.
He said we can go and take this land. Everybody chill out. We're going to take it. The other 10 people brought back a bad report. The other 10 spies brought back a bad report. The land is fruitful, but the people like giants. Caleb like, hey man, everybody cool out. We can go take this. We can do it. Go ahead and read.
But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we.
See, we can't go up against the people because they stronger than us. Caleb like, Joshua like, we want to take this land. Go ahead and read it.
And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel. The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof.
Go ahead.
And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great strength.
Now, do you think the Lord would have sent them there to spy out the land for 40 days if he didn't think that? Because he said, look, I'm going to give you this land, Abraham, and to your seed after you for an everlasting covenant. Then he told him, go spy the land out. Why would the Lord have him go spy the land out? He already know what's in the land already, don't he? But he wants them to get a bird's eye view and a good look at what's going on in this land. So he thinking they're going to bring back a good report. They talking about, no, we can't take the land. Caleb and Joshua was like, no, we can go take the land. And we're going to do it. But the other 10 men brought back an evil report. Verse 33, go ahead. Talking about these men in the land, they're of great stature. We got that the Lord just tore down Egypt and split the Red Sea for them. What do he care about some giants in the land? He tear them down too. Verse 33, go ahead.
And there we saw the giants.
The
sons of Anak. Which come of the giants.
Go ahead.
We were in our own sight as grasshoppers. And so we were in their sight.
So they said, we like grasshoppers in their sight. We can't take this land. But Joshua and Caleb was like, we want to take this land. Let's go now. We're going to get back to this in a minute. Let's go to Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 20. Let me show you a little bit something about this land. Ezekiel 20. We're going to come back to Numbers in 32 in a minute. I'm sorry. Let's go to Ezekiel 20. Let's just go to Ezekiel 20. We'll get back to the land in a minute. The people in the land in a minute. Ezekiel 20 and 5. Ezekiel 20 and 5. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
And say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, in the day when I choose Israel, and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt.
Go ahead.
When I lifted up my hand unto them, saying, I am the Lord your God. In the day that I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth of the land of Egypt into a land that I had espied for them.
He said, in the land that I had espied for them. Now look at what he's going to say about this land. Go ahead and read.
Flowing with milk and honey.
It is flowing with milk and honey.
Which is the glory of all lands.
Which is the glory of what?
All lands.
All lands. That just went by y'all like a bullet, didn't it? He said, this land is the glory of God. Said this land is the glory of all lands. So what is this land then? It is the glory of all land. Then he turned around and gave it to the children of Israel. The glory of all land. Skip down to verse 10. Go ahead and read it.
Wherefore, I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt and brought them into the wilderness.
And he brought them into the wilderness when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. Let's go to Numbers, the 20th chapter. And let's see what happened when they were in the wilderness. Let's see what happened when they were in the wilderness before they came into the land. Numbers, the 20th chapter. Numbers 20, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. Numbers 20 and verse 1. Let's see what happened before they came into the land. Because some of the children of Israel didn't make it into the land. And I'm going to tell you something else. Moses didn't even make it into the land. Let's find out what happened. Numbers 20 and verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin. in the first month. And the people abound in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there.
Now Miriam died there. Go ahead and read.
And there was no water for the congregation. And they
Miriam, that's Aaron's sister.
Right.
Go ahead and read.
And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people called with Moses and spake, saying.
Now look, they hollered at Moses. And the people chose with Moses. Now they mad at Moses because Moses brought them out of Egypt into the wilderness. And they ain't have no water, nothing to eat and everything. Now, why would God tell you to do this and then he ain't going to feed you? But you know Israel, they love to eat. they miss a meal, boy, they upset. Go ahead and read.
Would God that we had died, even our brethren died before the Lord?
Now he said, with God we had, okay, well then what you crying about now? If you say, with God we had died before our brothers and everything, okay, just go ahead and die then. What you crying about? They was crying because, they was doing all this crying because they was hungry. And the people chose with Moses and spake, saying, would God that we had died when our brothers died before the Lord. Go ahead, well, if you ain't got nothing to eat or drink, you're going to die now, so what you crying for? Verse 4, go ahead and read.
And why have we brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness? That we and our cattle should die. Now
look, the Lord had already beat down the Egyptians, split the Red Sea for them. You know, they were huddling across that Red Sea, wasn't they? Trying to get away from the Egyptians. Now, they don't have no food at the time that they're ready to eat. They're like, you know what? And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness? Who told Moses to bring the congregation into the wilderness? God did, didn't he? So you don't get mad at Moses, get mad at God. That's who you should be getting mad at. But go ahead and read.
And wherefore have ye made us to come up out of Egypt to bring us unto this evil place? It is no place of seed or of figs or of vines or of pomegranates. Pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink.
Go ahead.
And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them.
Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes.
Stop right there. You see what he told them? Speak unto the rock. You gonna go, the Lord told you go speak to the rock. And what did Moses do? He would have spoke to that rock then, but he said the wrong thing though. The Lord wasn't pleased with what he said. Don't you know that? Well, I ain't going to even say nothing right now, but go ahead and read. What verse you at?
Verse 8. Take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water.
And it shall give forth his water. The rock is going to give forth his water.
Thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink.
Go ahead.
And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels.
Now look at what Moses said. Hear now, ye rebels. I guess Moses was upset. Hear now, ye rebels. But they provoked him to anger, and he displayed that anger, and the Lord was not pleased with this. Because look what's going to happen to Moses because of this. He said, and hear now, ye rebels. Go ahead.
Must we fetch you water out of this rock?
Must we fetch water out of this rock? But who actually giving them the water out of the rock? Moses can't go hit no rock and bring no water out of it. So who brought the water out of the rock then? God did, didn't he? But Moses said, hear now, you rebels. Must we fetch water out of this rock? And this wasn't pleasing to the Lord. But go ahead and read.
And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly.
Go ahead.
And the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not.
Stop right there. Now he said, because you believe me not. But the Lord is the one who told him to go and smoke the rock, right? So, but he said that you didn't believe me. Why is he saying this? Go ahead and read.
To sanctify
me
in the eyes of the children.
Read that again.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not, to sanctify.
Stop right there. To sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. That's what they said. We give you this water in the name of the Lord and smoke the rock. But they just said, here now, ye rebels, must we fetch water out of these rocks? And the Lord's like, I didn't tell you to do that. You didn't sanctify me. Start at verse 12 one more time.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel.
Go ahead.
Therefore, you shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them.
So Moses not going to make it in the land. He said, you shall not bring the people into the land, Moses. That is really something, man. He been with these people all this time and did all this stuff to Pharaoh, and now he in the wilderness with them. And then he let Moses tell the people go spy the land out and everything. And now he turn around and do something to let the children of Israel provoke him to anger. And he said, here now, you rebels, must we give you fetch water for you to drink. And the Lord like, well, look, man, you ain't sanctified me in front of the children of Israel. I'm the one who doing the work. I'm the one doing the work. Verse 13, go ahead and read.
This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he has sanctified in them.
Now, so Moses obviously didn't hear the Lord when he told him, look, you're not going into the land, Moses. And Moses was pleading with the Lord. And look at what the Lord told him, though. Let's go to Deuteronomy 3rd chapter. Deuteronomy 3. Deuteronomy the 3rd chapter, because once the Lord laid out a law, that's it. Deuteronomy 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 24. Deuteronomy 3 and 24. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness. Now
I'll tell you, we'll pick it up at verse 22. 22. Go ahead, read it, start at verse 22. Go ahead.
You shall not fear them. For the Lord your God, he shall fight for you. And I besought the Lord at that time, saying.
He said, and I besought the Lord at that time, saying,
O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand.
Go ahead.
For what God is there in heaven or in earth, that can do according to thy works and according to thy might.
So now Moses, he besought the Lord. He coming to the Lord real humbly now, right? Trying to win him back over, because the Lord already told him, you ain't going into the land. So Moses going to try to sneak this in on him. Verse 25, go ahead.
I pray thee, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan.
He said, look, I pray ye, Lord, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan. Go ahead.
That goodly mountains and beyond.
Go ahead, what the Lord say? Go ahead.
But the Lord was wroth with me.
But the Lord was wroth with me. He was angry with me.
For your sakes.
Go ahead.
And would not hear me.
And would not hear me. And would not hear me. What did he say? Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto me, Let it suffice thee.
Suffice thee.
Suffice thee. Speak no more unto me of this matter.
He said, don't talk to me no more about this matter. Let it suffice thee. Don't speak to me no more about this. Because Moses asked him, look, let me go over to Jordan and see the land. He's like, I told you, you're not going to see the land. And don't speak to me no more about this matter. But then he had a little compassion on him. Go ahead and read.
Verse 27. Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward.
Go ahead. Stop that playing. Go ahead and read.
Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward and northward and southward and eastward.
He said, go look at it. North, west, south, and east. Because you sure ain't going over in it. Go ahead and read.
And behold it with thine eyes. For thou shalt not go over this Jordan.
He said, you know, go, I'm going to let you go see the land. Stand up there in the mountain and go see the land. North, south, east, and west. But you're not going over in it, though. You're not going over in it. And don't bother me no more with this matter. Go up there and look at it, and that's it. Go ahead and read.
But charge Joshua and encourage him.
But charge Joshua and encourage him. Go ahead and read. Because see, Moses didn't take the people over into the land. Joshua did. Go ahead.
And strengthen him. For he shall go over before this people.
That is really something, man. You know how you got a job and then a new cat comes and now you got to train him to do your job? and then he wind up getting your job. And that's what happened right here. The Lord, you told Moses, look, go strengthen Joshua, because that's the one going to take him over into the land. He going to take over your job, Moses. But charge Joshua and encourage him and strengthen him, for he shall go over before his people.
And he shall cause them to inherit the land which thou shalt see.
And he's going to cause them to inherit the land which thou see. So Moses strengthened Joshua to take because Moses died before he got into the land, before they got into the land, didn't he? That is really something. I done dealt with these people all this time, these hard-headed, stiff-necked people. And now they provoke me to anger, and I provoke the Lord to anger, and now I can't get in the land. All I can do is see it. I know Moses had to be burning up inside, boy, at these people. And at himself. Let's go now. Let's go to Numbers, the 32nd chapter. Now let me show you, because the children of Israel, most of them didn't get into the land either at this time. Let's go to we're going to Numbers 32. Numbers 32. The Lord don't be playing. When he said, you know, look here, straighten up and fly right, he wants you to straighten up and fly right. Because if you don't, he's going to get up to here with you, and then that's going to be it. Numbers 32 and 7. Numbers 32 and 7. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them.
Go ahead.
Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadeshabar Neah, to see the land.
Go ahead.
For when they went up into the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel that they should not go into the land which the Lord had given them.
Now this is he's telling them about when they went and spied out the land, right? Go ahead and read.
And the Lord's anger was kindled at the same time, and he swore, saying,
go ahead.
Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac. And
you see that?
Jacob.
He said none of the people that was 20 years old and upward, they're not going into the land. Just like Moses didn't get in the land. 20 years old and upward. Because those are the ones who were doing the murmuring. Talking about, no, we can't go take the land, and they giants in the land. Oh, the fruit up thereof is good, but we can't go take the land. And then they start murmuring against Moses. Go ahead and read though.
Because they have not wholly followed me.
They have not wholly followed me,
Save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh.
He says, save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh,
Jephunneh, the Kizite, and Joshua, the son of Nun.
And Joshua, the son of Nun. These are the two guys that followed me, and they followed me wholly. Because Joshua and Caleb were like, let's go take this land. The Lord gave it to us, we want to take it. But the rest of the people was like, no, we can't take it, there's giants in the land, and gave all type of excuses, right? Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
The end of verse 12.
Uh-huh.
For they have wholly followed the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years.
Now, look, can you imagine that? You in the wilderness in a desert for 40 years? For 40 years. He was really angry with this people, wasn't he? Go ahead and read.
Unto all the generations that have done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. All
the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. Man, that is really something. 40 years in the desert, making them walk around to all those men, that generation that had talked against the Lord, they were consumed. They were dead. And the children that were 19 years and upward got into the land. That's who got into, I'm sorry, 19 years and younger got into the land. That is really something, man. 40 years in the wilderness. The Lord must really been upset. Let's go to Joshua, because Joshua took the children of Israel into the land, and then he divided it amongst them. We had Joshua 14 and 1, Joshua 14 and 1. I'm just giving you a good dose of this promised land and how they came to acquire this promised land.